In today's video, we unseal a Warhammer Fantasy mystery box, chock full of tabletop wargaming terrain, plastic and metal minis, and a host of other GW and non-GW curiosities. Well, hi folks, it's Lee from skirmishwargames.com. Welcome to the channel. I'm here with Lynn.
Hello.
And today is December 20th, 2020, so I guess happy holidays to everybody out there. So Lynn, do you know what this box is that I have here that's actually been sitting on the sofa for a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks maybe?
Something for me to open?
Well, you get to open it, but it's a Christmas present for me, an early self-bought Christmas present. It's actually a blind box, so I don't know exactly what's in here. I did, when I got it, kind of peek past the first layer of wrapping to see that it wasn't just full of bottle caps or old newspapers or something. But this is actually a, let me read the description from the eBay seller. So in the eBay listing, this was titled as a Warhammer Fantasy blind box. So the description goes, lots of all kinds of stuff. Lots of terrain from Mordheim, tabletop battles, OOP figures, and lots of fun GW stuff. And that's really all it says. Now, we knew a little bit about the vendor who was selling this because this is the guy that I bought those painted Mordheim warbands from. And we haven't shown people those yet, but at some point we'll show you those because they're really cool. So the fellow had inherited some painted figures, Warhammer Fantasy and Mordheim figures, from a friend who had passed away, and then was kind of auctioning them off piecemeal. And we picked up some Mordheim warbands because we've been playing Mordheim, and I paint very slowly, and it's like, oh, there's some Sisters of Sigmar, there's some Witch Hunters, there's some Mercenaries, even a couple of coaches. So it was just cost effective for me to do it that way, and they were pretty neat. And so in his store listing, in his listing of auctions, they had this blind box, and I knew from the quality of the Mordheim figures that, I don't know, maybe there's some interesting stuff in here. So I am into this. I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm into this for about $140 because the auction started at $99. There was a little bit of a bidding war at the end. $15 for shipping. So I'm into this for $140. So this is more or less the cost of, say, a starter set, you know, a low-end starter set. So we'll see. It's the lure of the blind box.
We're blind box addicts.
I know. I couldn't let it pass. I had to see what was in there because I'd had a taste of it already from, buying those other warbands. So today we're going to open these up, and maybe you folks out there can help us identify any mystery pieces that we don't quite know what they are. Then the hive mind can judge me as to whether I made a good investment or not. But, life is for living. I just couldn't stand to let the box go by without seeing what was inside. So we will check it out. And this is my early Christmas present to myself, I guess. Why don't we just kind of gently, some of this stuff is kind of jammed in here. And it looks like there's some fragile pieces. I'm going to gently pull some stuff out, and then we'll kind of make a stack and then go through it piece by piece. This is already pretty encouraging here.
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. That looks like some epic scale Space Marines.
Wow, tiny.
Tiny.
Tiny, tiny. Oh my God.
Well, they had epic Warhammer 40K mass battles. I guess in the 90s. I actually had some Eldar. I was going to get into it, but then, life got in the way. Okay. All right, so some of these movement trays. So yeah, I guess we'll see. So this must have been a hodgepodge of stuff that didn't fall into any other category, and so they put it in a blind box, and I suppose we'll see. Here's an arm. Okay, let's get that white box out of the way, and then we'll take a look at some of this stuff. Lynn, you want to carefully open up these bubble wraps here, and we'll start from there, I guess. Some terrain. Oh, nicely painted terrain. Okay, here's another one. So a lot of terrain, it looks like. Is that a bat? Here's a bat. We're going to have to get close-ups on a lot of this stuff.
Because they're tiny.
Tiny little pieces.
Oh, I like the well.
The well, barricades, painted and unpainted stuff. Though the stuff that's painted looks like it's painted very well. All right, well, let's set these movement trays to the side for a moment. The Big Daddy here, I'm surprised this survived shipping, but here is this really neat tower. This really nicely painted tower that this guy put together.
I like that.
A lot of skulls on there and other embellishments. And the top platform there looks like a really good spot to place an objective marker. And here's kind of the base of it. Now I'm starting to develop a philosophy regarding older miniatures or terrain pieces that might have been painted by a hobbyist, say, decades ago. And then that hobbyist perhaps retires from gaming or maybe even passes on. And yet their stuff is still out there in the world. So somebody put a lot of time and thought and effort into this to create this. And it's almost a piece of art. I mean, it is a work of art. Somebody really dedicated a lot of their talents to this. And unfortunately, sometimes when the original hobbyist no longer has use for his or her creations, then sometimes they can end up in the dumpster, locked in a storage locker, in a basement somewhere, crushed, damaged, thrown out, or otherwise unused or retired before their time. And that's a real shame. So it is gratifying to me when we can give some of these things sort of a second career on YouTube, where hundreds and maybe thousands of people across the globe can see them and enjoy them, and in a way they live on a little bit longer that way. So that is our big tower. So let's see. Give me another category here.
Well, we've got a bunch of walls.
Let's look at the walls. So unpainted stuff like this is, of course, of interest, but we're going to set that aside for the moment and focus on the stuff that's painted. Yeah, a lot of scatter terrain here. So this is really cool. So scatter terrain pieces. This one here has a working door on it and a nice wood grain technique. We've been doing a lot of wood grain.
I like wood grain.
So quite a lot of
We got a few of those.
fences and stone walls with trees in without. Here's a barricade. Nice little barricades. Yeah, this is great. This will mix in really nicely with some of the other barricades we have. And scatter terrain. Gotta love it. Stakes. Sharpened stakes to protect your line of archers from the zombie horde or the orc horde or any kind of horde that you might be facing. This one is quite heavy here, so I bet it has some metal pieces in it. So, yeah, this is the answer to all of our fantasy scatter terrain dreams. Look at all that stuff. So if you're a mercenary or a bounty hunter in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, you would go to the town square and look at the bulletin board, and that's where you would find your bounties or your next job. Yeah, there's some really tiny pieces too. So here's a little scatter piece with a bird on it. Oh, those are little guys. Those are tiny little humans. They're little soldiers and a guy on horseback. And then we got a bridge and a well and a couple things over there. So.
And a lone barrel.
And a lone barrel and a well.
Oh, and the cannon. A big cannon.
And yeah, some kind of mortar there. So here's the wishing well, or the well of lost souls. And a nice little narrow bridge. And these here look like little swivel guns that you might have on a tank or perhaps on a castle wall or something like that. And these are metal. So that was the terrain component. And just looking at that, I feel like, yeah, we made a pretty good investment already if you factor in the time it would take to paint all that stuff.
And the skill.
And the skill. We're not bad. We can paint a piece of terrain, but this guy was probably a level or two above what we would typically do. And so, yeah, nice stuff, and we're happy to have it, and we will put it to good use, and hopefully you'll see it in a bunch of gameplay videos moving forward where it can live online forever. So then we got these loose bags here. Let's take a look at what we got. So I'm going to look at these loose sprues real quick. So like we saw before, here is some epic Space Marines, and I'm not quite sure what we would do with those. at this point. And then looks like a half of a sprue of skeletons. Okay, let's see what we got here.
That looks like a griffin, I think. Could be wrong.
And does he have all of his pieces? Well, he's got a tail.
And he's got his 2 wings.
He's got 2 wings.
And he's got all his feet. So it looks like he's all there.
All of his limbs are attached. So yeah, gluing that guy together would probably require a little bit of pinning because of the length of those wings. But so yeah, he appears to be complete, if not intact.
So we've got metal, metal,
Yeah,
metal. We got 3 metal and 2 plastic.
I've got this bag of black plastic pieces here.
Got a metal shield in there.
So here we have about 20 black plastic soldiers. This is kind of a brittle plastic here, and these guys are pre-based, so they look kind of like game pieces. Not from Battle Masters, we can see that for sure, because we've opened Battle Masters. So maybe they went for some other GW Specialist game or something else. But anyway, they appear to be perfectly respectable toy soldiers, and we may not have shields and swords for everybody, but we can kit out some of them at the very least. Okay, black plastic guys. Back into the bag you go. All right, another bag. This looks like a wagon. So I was going to say this is a funky looking cow. This cow has been hogtied for branding, it looks like.
So maybe it goes in the wagon.
Maybe it goes in the wagon, but we have, yeah. Looks like all the components necessary for a metal wagon. Oh. Here is a rack of potions, so perhaps this is a traveling wizard or alchemist going from village to village, selling his snake oil.
Another wagon.
Another cart here. This one has a driver.
And a horse.
And a horse. A pretty small horse for a pretty small cart. But, yeah, we can paint a wagon. Okay, what else we got? How many? We got 2 more bags?
Yep.
2 more little bags of goodies. Looks like this is some miscellaneous plastic bric-a-brac. I see a bloodthirster in there. Perhaps this came from a Hero Quest set or something. I'm not sure. We got a couple of those guys. We got
a spider.
A spider. We got a mummy. Some kind of a wizard. Undead. Ogre. Yeah, this is probably some sort of a Hero Quest set or something similar. This does not look like a GW product. I don't know what the heck that is. So yeah, a nice collection of GW and perhaps non-GW inspired figures for your favorite tabletop dungeon crawler. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm digging that. I think we have one of these guys in metal as a Chaos Warrior. So this must be the board game version of him. And this is the final bag. Looks like we have some metal stuff in here. There is a psychological term, Lynn, and I can't remember what it is, but it involves opening a blind box or pulling the handle on a slot machine, and the anticipation of what might happen is actually more of a jolt than actually finding out what happened. So that is the allure of the blind box. And so not knowing what could be in here. So yeah, this is a little creepy here. So the witch hunters have been passing through apparently. I don't know if that is a 54 millimeter guy or if that is an ogre in armor.
He's missing an arm.
Missing an arm. But we have a bag of arms.
We do.
Remember our big Warhammer Fantasy bits unbagging from earlier this year. So we have a ton of arms. I'm not sure if we have exactly the right arm, but we'll try our best. Somebody's table. What else we got here? Looks like a lot of 25 millimeter like RPG minis from various manufacturers. It's a little bit hard to read the etching on the bottom, but it looks like it says 89, so this might be like a Ral Parther or something like that. And this lady is probably made out of lead. And yeah, just some other little guys. So this guy here appears to be a juggler or something. He has a ball or an orange he's balancing on his head, and he's got a couple of juggling sticks there. And a barmaid, looks like. Here's an interesting looking knight. So yeah, I'm not sure if any of these guys would fit in with things we already have or not. They're pretty small.
Here's a little goblin, though.
Oh, here we go. Relpartha, 1984, or perhaps 89, but definitely from the 80s. So Lynn, you say you want to paint this little guy here, huh?
Yep.
He looks like a little goblin or kobold with
Thing of gold on his
a
head.
thing of gold on his head. Yeah, if you were playing Frostgrave and you had one of those guys one of those wizards who makes golems, this could be his little golem running away with a pot of treasure. Okay, cool beans. So Lynn, do you think we got $140 worth of value out of this box?
I would say yes, especially with all that painted terrain.
Yeah, I think that's the deciding factor for me too. The minis, the various metal and plastic minis are all pretty cool, and there's definitely some fun things in there. But the fact that this scatter train is painted so well that someone had put the time and talent into making this stuff, that really helps us a lot when we're producing videos, because even though we paint a lot of terrain, I can just pull the stuff off the shelf and use it to kind of vary up the various battlefields that we're making. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, unnamed wargamer, wherever you are, well done, and we will take good care of your stuff and hopefully put it in videos that we can share with other gamers all across the globe, so the artistry will live on. Okay, well, we got existential there for a minute, but on that note, happy holidays, everybody. We wish you the very best, and thank you for all the positive feedback that you gave us this year. It really gives us the motivation we need to keep producing videos, which we enjoy. And I'm not entirely sure if we'll produce another video or two this year. I'm going to try. We'll see how the holidays go. And then we got some big plans for 2021, which we'll share with you probably end of the year or early next year to let you know what's coming down the pipe. So, as always, thanks very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you do like the things we do, please subscribe to our channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up. And of course, please visit us online at our website, skirmishwargames.com. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
See you soon.
See you soon.